So we feel really good about where he's at. He feels really good about where he's at. You know, he's bouncing around and feels really, I mean, I feel great about Will. Great about Will.
This would work.
Yep.
There we go.
So with Sorsby, is there anything that can come up from here on out between now and the season, appeals from the NCAA or anything like that, that could prevent him from actually playing at this point?
I'm glad you asked that question. Because here's what I do want to say before I answer that question. And trust me, I think y'all will understand this. Will Hammond is coming back from an ACL. He is recovering from an injury. So what we expect Will Hammond is hopefully week 1, week 2. We hope that. Like he's recovering from an injury. Brendan Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. And I have a number of people in my family that were addicted to different stuff. And so I've seen what addiction does to people. And so us even saying to the point before we get to the legal part that he could be ready week 3 against Houston is still a stretch, because guess what? He's still recovering. Like, you don't necessarily know between now and then exactly, do I see a different person? I know it sounds crazy, but I do. Do I see a kid that feels like he's got 1,000 pounds of weight lifted off of him? He's made the statement, that he feels like this is a moment that can actually change his life. Now, going back to yours. So the judge rules on it, right? There's an injunction. It's going to go to Amarillo at some point. What we've all heard, and when I say we, I'm hearing the same thing, is there's a meeting on Thursday with the Big 12 Executive Committee, and then at some point there'll be a meeting with the presidents. Does the Big 12 as a conference try to do something? I don't know that. As of right now, if you just look at the amount of time that it takes to get to the appeal process, that's still January or February, right? And so there's a lot of things to work through that we're trying to work through right now. I will tell you, and I know at some point, and it might have come out, and you could read it, the amount of stuff that he is, the mentors that he has, the help that he's getting, the recovery that he still has to do, the amount of technology that is on anything that he has for us to know everything that's going on. He has a person that's over every single penny that he has. I mean, the steps in place for him to even get to the points of where we can get him playing. There's a lot of stuff to go through. He is back in the building. He was at football school today. I got 2 kids, one's 30, one's 27. I got in this business for kids. I know why I was put on this earth, and that was to help people. And I just, whenever I go through the situations and think through everything, me turning my back on that young man in his darkest times, and if you don't think it's your darkest times, look at where he's rated, what he could be doing as far as quarterback-wise, and is he going to get drafted and all that, and he comes back in his whole world. And he's the first person to tell you it's his fault. He chose to do this, but whenever you know anything about addiction, there's a point that you choose it, and then all of a sudden you don't choose it anymore. There's not something that you can do by yourself to get past where you're at. And so I wasn't going to turn my back on him. We're still working through a lot of stuff. I mean, this is so early. This happened on Monday, and so we're still working through a lot of stuff, and so is he. Thank you for the question. I really mean that. I do. And at some point, y'all, soon, I would expect Red Raiders will hear from Brendan Sorsby, because I think it's really important. And I will tell you, he thinks it's really important for him to get everybody to understand exactly where he's at.
Coach, you talked a little bit earlier about kind of the united front that the university has behind you and behind athletics in general. Can you share any light at all what the conversations have been like the past couple of days with Lawrence and Kirby and yourself, and kind of what y'all's group viewpoint is about the outward appearance of Texas Tech, the athletic department, especially with all the stuff coming about, scheduling Texas Tech on future games and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of trying to work through everything. This happens on Monday, and then all of a sudden there's just like this, and there's a rage. I understand, like for some reason, as a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against. It's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, so there's a lot of things that we're working through. None of this is okay. When nobody, like with us doing this, for us as a university, I do want y'all to tell y'all, we were not a part of this lawsuit by any way. We did not pay for his lawyer, right? This was not Texas Tech taking the NCAA to court. What we did was support our player that is an addict. And that has been done at Texas Tech as long as Texas Tech has been a university, supporting their student athletes and their students. We're a university that's student driven. But I will